What's going on? Welcome to another episode of MUNSTY Talks. And I know we said every 2 weeks, 10 minutes and stuff like that, but you know what? We're gonna throw a little curveball into the action today. We're gonna try to do 20 minutes today, and we're just gonna have a conversation, right? Let's have a conversation. Sorry if I sound a little bit stuffed up. Sinuses, allergies, they be boxing my mouth in, so to speak. But yeah, so let's just get into it. Lately I've been feeling better. I like as the days go on, I've been feeling a lot better. But the reason I'm feeling better is because I have to revert back to a part of me that is not very healthy coping mechanisms. Is that the proper word I'm looking for? Whatever it is. So in summary, I've been feeling better because I've had to let that part of me out that is just like, don't worry, I can handle this. We'll get it done. X, Y, Z. And that's sort of the conversation I want to have today. Is I'm a big believer in growing and being more healthy in taking those steps to better yourself. 100% agree with that. But and this is all for me personally, by the way. Like, this is just a conversation I can only speak about for myself. But along with those healthy mechanisms in growing and being better, there's always going to be a part of me that has to revert back to that sort of quote unquote not healthy mindset in dealing with it. Which in my mind, and again, this is just a personal preference, it's perfectly fine. I think for me it's a healthy mix. I understand that I want to grow and I understand that I want to be somebody better and I want to do things better for myself, but I also understand that there's a part of me that has been at the lowest of lows, and that part of me, no matter how unhealthy it may be, will always get me through to be a healthier person, if that makes sense. So that's sort of like where I've been, and that it sort of just rolls back in the whole conversation of like, when I first did on the first episode of Munsty Talks, I talked about how back in December my grandfather passed away, and he was a very big part of my life, and I spoke about how it was affecting me and how it was bringing me down and how I wasn't in a good spot, and I am now getting into a better spot, but not because of like healthier ways, because oh yeah, I'm going to therapy and stuff like that. It's because excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean to like off in your thing, but this is the realism of a raw dog, chaotic Munsty Talks. But again, back in the whole conversation. The reason I am doing better is because I've had to let out that sort of part of me that is, hey man, we'll get through this. It won't be healthy. You won't talk about your feelings. You won't talk about your emotions. You won't have a conversation about none of this. But we'll get through this shit. And I've always had I've always been very well, as I've gotten older, I've always been very open about how I want to be better and sort of take those. I don't know how to word it. Like, it's not necessarily a I don't think it's a bad thing, but I want to put that mindset that I have about, oh, it is what it is. I'll get through it. I don't need to talk about X, Y, Z, and I want to make it more healthy. Well, I have not found an answer to that, but again, the whole idea of like me becoming that person of like, oh, I'm not talking about it. I'll be fine. I'll be fine, is getting me to a point today where I can say that I am feeling better. I am, each day getting to a better place mentally and stuff like that. And it's it's one of those things that it's sort of like Two-Face, right? If you're familiar with Two-Face, you have an ugly side, and then you have a side that's more charismatic, more welcoming, more XYZ. And I'll always be a firm believer in the fact that no matter how much you're trying to better yourself and how healthy you're trying to be, you will always have that part of you that will be sort of a I guess I excuse me, I guess it'll be a defense mechanism, right? Like, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't have a fucking doctorate degree and all of this kind of stuff, but it would be a defense mechanism. It's something that comes into place when you need it. Like, so at least that's personally what I think. I'm not a doctor. I'm just your local himbo out here talking about emotions and thoughts and everything like that. But yeah, in short, I'm doing better, but I'm falling back into that sort of, again, I don't want to call it bad, I don't want to call it toxic, because for me personally it's not that. Like, the way that I am and the way that I've been behaving is ways that have gotten me through the hardest times of my life. And it will always be part of me. There will always be a part of me that has to act like this to be able to do anything. Because, as much as I like a more healthy outlook in dealing with your emotions and all of your thoughts more healthily, sometimes it's fucking hard. Like, let's be honest, bro, that shit's for the birds. And that's just me speaking rawly. That's just me speaking honestly, right? 100%. Anybody that listens to this or anybody that's trying it, please, I support you in doing the healthy thing and everything like that. This is not me bashing that lifestyle, not in the least. I'm just saying, for me personally, sometimes I gotta do what the fuck I gotta do. All right? It might not be healthy. It might not be this, oh, you're sharing your emotions, you're talking about things, you're growing and stuff like that. But it is an avenue that lets me get to that point. So that's sort of the conversation that I'm having with myself. Sort of not every day, but day in and day out, is like, is this healthy for me? And I think I've come to the head of that conversation, which is, yes, it is. It's not the healthiest way for me, but it is leading me to an avenue to be healthier and do healthier things. Which, in that case, is very strong, at least for me personally, because you need that sort of oomph, that extra go-how to chase this healthy living, being a better person for yourself, growing, nurturing yourself, and everything like that. When again, sorry, this is all just raw. This is all just off the top of my dome. I ain't got no script. Hearing me all stuffed up, clearing my throat. It's the chaos of it, baby. It's the chaos of it. But when my grandfather passed away, I didn't tell barely anybody. I didn't tell anybody because it wasn't a conversation I'm ready to have. And to this day, it's still not a conversation I'm ready to have. Like, if somebody sat me down and said, "Hey, talk about what you're feeling, talk about, what's going on through your head," I would deny it. I would not do it, because it's just a conversation that I'm not ready to have. And it was the same way with my grandmother. It's these things in life, sometimes they just happen. And I never, and I don't think I'll ever, like, and this is honestly, I don't think I'll ever be open enough to talk about it. Like, I'll glaze over it. I'll tell people, oh yeah, XYZ. But if somebody sat me down and said, listen, we're gonna have a real conversation about this, I would not be able to do it. Because I know how I've dealt with these things. If somebody sat me down and said, you talk about this, it would literally destroy a foundation of myself, if that makes sense. I know a lot of the things that I say are very chaotic and they don't make sense, but this if I had to talk about, everything that's happened, my grandmother, my grandfather, XYZ, it doesn't matter. I I would lose a foundation in myself. And I know that's a red flag. That's not very healthy. That's not very cash money of you, Munsty. You're trying to grow. You're trying to be a better person. Well, listen here, you beautiful motherfucker. All right. First of all, you staying hydrated. Best be staying hydrated. Take your motherfucking meds. And listen, we're all out here trying our best. Life is not a fucking easy thing. All right. We gotta do what we gotta do to survive. We gotta do what we gotta do to be better than we were yesterday. And that's where I'm at right now. Yes, I might not. I am not the best person to talk about feelings. For me personally, like I'm just talking about me expressing my own feelings. I am very good at listening to other people speak about their emotions. Very good at that. I 100% love to. Well, I won't say love. Okay, that was a very not the word I wanted to use. I do not love if somebody comes to me in chooses me to be an outlet for the things that they're feeling and the things that they're thinking. I take that very seriously. That's a better way to word it. I take that very seriously because that is a big step. That is a trust that that person has in you. And I have a famous saying that if somebody comes and talks to me, I can understand what you're going through, but I can never say I know what you're going through. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference. If somebody comes and talks to me about, oh, they're feeling sad, they're feeling, this and that, I can understand that sadness, but I can never know exactly what the sadness level they're feeling. And that to me is a very, very big thing because if somebody ever looked me in my eyes or confided in me, or I confided in them and they said, oh, I understand. I know what you're going through. That's a red flag for me. That is a big red flag for me because you don't know what I'm going through. And I don't expect you to know what I'm going through. I don't expect you to know. I don't really expect anything from anybody. Let's be honest about that. But I'm trying to word this conversation into words that make sense. And that's fucking, if you know me, that's very hard. If you know your boy Munsty, that's a very hard thing. But anyway, tangent aside, my famous saying in life is, I understand what you're going through, but I will never know what you're going through. And that is not a shot at anybody. That is not me trying to, digress your situation or anything like that. That's me being completely honest with you. I will never know what somebody is going through 100% of the time. Never. Everybody's different. Every person has a different mindset. Second to second, everybody is built differently, as they say. So that is something that I have tailored into the person I'm being. Like, if you come and talk to me, like, I'll be completely honest. That is like the first thing I say. Listen, I understand what you're going through, but I don't know what you're going. Because I feel like if you're honest about that with somebody, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I guess in my mind, if I was in like therapy or I was talking to somebody and they told me, hey, I can understand what you're going through, but I don't know what you're going through. That's a sort of a nod in like they're truly listening. Like they truly care about me and they, definitely aren't trying to know what I'm going through, but they're trying to understand. And I feel like understanding is a good thing. I don't know. It's a weird concept. It's a weird concept. I don't really have many words to go with that because let's be honest, words are hard for me in general. And this is already a lengthy episode. I did say we're gonna go about 20 minutes, but I'm gonna have to cut it short because stuffy nosed and all that kind of stuff. But hey, I appreciate you, and this is another episode of MUNSTY Talks where we talk about just random chaotic things. And y'all are blessed, y'all are beautiful, and I'll see you next time.